Hey guys, welcome back. This is Chosen Architect, and today we're going to be setting up a fully automated sieve system using Xnet. So I hope you guys are ready. So today there's going to be a lot of automation going on. We're going to, for one, work with Xnet today, and then we're also going to kind of push our way into full auto sieving of materials, so we won't have to really worry about this sieve anymore, this lag-inducing sieve that runs off of a mechanical user. We will no longer have to worry about this guy. We're going to be working specifically with compressed materials, so we'll no longer need to worry about this either, multiple meshes. So we'll get this going really fast soon, and we can actually have it set up for multiple different heavy sieves and stuff like that. But let's just get started. For one thing, we need to finish up our Ender IO. We need the Sag Mill today, but we need the upgraded version of the Sag Mill. So it's going to take a little bit of time. We do have enough organic dye at this point, but we also need these. Well, I guess we need some organic brown dye, I think. Let's take a look at Ender IO, and we'll take a look at the actual machine casing. So where are the machine casing? Yeah, industrial machine chassis. So this actually doesn't require brown dye, but we do have everything here. We are going to need the organic dye, which is going to require pulverized coal and slime balls. So let's just jump down here, grab our material. Also, I'm going to make an elevator if I have enough string. I think I do. So we're going to need all of this converted into wool, which I guess I have wool in my other chest. But let's get some elevators. This is going to make our life a lot easier. And I'm going to see, we can do brown, right? We can do brown dye. Yeah, we have some, but let's see. Do we have enough brown wool stored away here? Oh, we totally do. Let's take out some brown wool, and we'll just make some brown elevators. I think that would look a lot better in our setup, since everything is sort of brown here. And kind of actually right in the center where this block is at, is where this needs to go. So we'll put an elevator right here. And then right up top, we can put an elevator here. So now we can jump up and be right in the center where we need to be. So we can easily get to the top level with no issues. Okay, so back to the black dye. We needed coal, right? So let's grab some coal. Very simple. Pop up here. Get that producing. Now this is actually out, so let's split the stack. Throw that in there. That'll give it enough so it can actually get processing. Now the reason this ran out of fuel was because even with these machines being the beginning stages, they actually can still continue to consume power even when there's no material being processed inside. So these will continue to use power. Both sides will. So let's go ahead and take those, the clippings we can throw back in here, because we no longer need those. We will take our other material that we will need today, and I'll also grab this material. As you can see, look at all the advancements we get from that. It's pretty simple, all in all, and we're going to need 6 of the coal in order for this process to take off. So we're going to have to wait just a little bit for that. I guess while we wait, we can come down here, and we can start working on some of our auto sieve stuff. So we're going to need a heavy sieve, and I'm also going to make a normal sieve, an automated sieve, just to get the quest out of the way, because we do have a quest for it. We take a look here, we have a quest for the normal auto sieve. This is talking about the normal auto sieve. There is another sieve that is called the heavy sieve. So, let's do Xnet, and there's an auto hammer. We're going to completely bypass the auto hammer today. That's why we're trying to get I'm trying to get Ender IO completed, is because we're going to make this process completely obsolete really soon. All right, so we move over here to the heavy sieve. Right here, here's the normal auto sieve. Now this requires normal iron, where this actually requires steel, but steel is actually not that hard to get. We should be able to make steel inside an alloy smelter with just pulverized coal and iron. It is literally that easy. And you can do this in a simple alloy smelter as well. Alright, so let's take this and we'll go ahead and start working on this. So we need 2 blocks of iron just to get the base normal sieve done. and glass panes, and we need one of these. So this is fairly simple. And this will run on power. So we're going to need some way to power this. Hopefully this will be able to be powered with our wireless powering system. And we should get the autocomplete. There we go. We claim our chest. And let's take a look. What do we get? 64K ME storage components. That's awesome. That'll be great whenever we go to set up an actual applied energistics system. Alright, let's go back up here. We'll check. How's our coal doing? We have just enough. That is perfect. 3 more here. And that should activate. And we should start getting this. Now, I do want some more coal to be pulverized in this. So let's grab some more coal. We'll do 2 stacks for right now. We'll do 1 to power the machines. And 1 to just stay processing. We'll just throw the rest of that over here. Alright, so this is going to continue to create the pulverized coal. And like I said, we're going to use that to make steel real soon. Real soon. Alright, so this should have our organic dye processed. There we go. And now, we should be able to actually make our machine chassis. So back to Ender.io, getting our actual industrial machine chassis, and we need to make this powder, right? And we get 6 of it, just like that. But we have enough here that we should be able to make even more, giving us a total of 12. And now, all we need is our simple machine chassis, which requires a little bit of grains of, or a few grains of infinity, which we do have, but I'm actually going to use this to set up a seed for it. So let's take this, the grains of infinity, and we just need Prudentium. Super easy to set that up. So we'll take prosperity shards, our seeds, a little bit of Ethereum essence, and our infusion crystal. And I'll do this in a normal crafting grid. So let's get our base tier seed. There we go. And then we'll surround this with Inferium. And then the Inferium will be upgraded. So let's go ahead and grab, where is our crystal? There it is. And we'll just upgrade all of this to Prudentium. And literally to make this seed is super simple. We just need 4 grains of infinity, a crafting seed. That is, oh, actually we need to upgrade to Prudentium. So let's upgrade this crafting seed to Prudentium. And then it's as simple as this. And then we get grains of infinity seeds. And this is just going to be helpful early on. So I'm going to break this here. And then we'll just use our acceleration wand on it to get more of these grains of infinity. And I actually think it just requires 3 to get the amount that we need, right? Is it just on the top? Let's take a look. Oh, it's 4. 4 of them, or 5 of them gets you 8. So like this is super fast. It's just like bone mill this until you get 5 of them. And you pretty much have as many as you're going to need, like, in the long run. Like, you just don't need that many. But it's better than sieving this constantly. Alright, so we have quite a few. Let's go ahead and make all 12 machine chassis that we might... I think that's all we're going to need. Is this all this is used for? Is just to convert this to machine chassis. So that's what we're going to use, all 12. And let's get these produced. So I'm going to throw this in here along with my new die. And that is going to convert these all into the industrial version of the machine chassis, allowing us to upgrade our machines and get into what used to be like back in 1.10, like in, or not, I think not 1.10, back in 1.7.10 or 1.7.10. This is how you would start off with Ender.io, but now you have to complete that first stage, and then you get to this point. And as you see, we start getting into some different materials here. You see, dark steel is actually used to make the Sag Mill of this tier, and it will consume this simple Sag Mill. So we need to actually make dark steel. So that's something we're actually gonna have to do. So that's why I have obsidian producing, and I have more of this pulverized coal that is being produced. Because once we get these in here, let's take our industrials out. We'll get a completion there. We're going to need to be working on this. Oh, and we also got some more enderberries. Or enderios. I love that. The enderios, that's so cool. But anyways, we have this being done. Let's take the coal. We have the pulverized coal. We're going to need iron, and then we're going to need obsidian. We should have all of that. And it's so cool to see this like in its state that it is in now, because it used to be that in like dark steel was like something that was late game Ender.io, but now it's actually something that you use just to progress to the mid tier in Ender.io. So we need iron for this. So that's what I'm going to grab, just a little bit of iron. And then we'll also use some of this pulverized to make steel also. So we can throw this here. And whenever this is finished, this will automatically go into the slots and start working. Whereas this right here will continue to produce the coal. And whenever we run out of obsidian, we actually probably don't need that much. We'll drop the obsidian down. When we run out of obsidian, it's going to start producing normal steel for us, which is, we need that too. So that's going to be something we're going to need. I'm still working on getting the pulverized coal going. It's just going to take a little bit of time for that. But anyways, this is how it's going. So let's actually get started on making Xnet materials. So Xnet is going to be a phenomenal automation tool for us whenever we start to fully set up automation for our sieve and everything. So let's start off with Xnet. Now, getting into Xnet, it may sound daunting at first, but really it's not that hard, and actually it's fairly functional and easy to use. So, and it's easy to make. All you need is some gold nuggets, which let's go ahead and throw some of those in here. And you're just going to need a few of these regular cables. Now, you can use whatever color you want, depending on if you want to dye them or not. The colors will prevent them from connecting. But if you just want to go with your normal cables, you can. It's no big deal. Let's just go with normal blue network cables. And we're going to need some string. That's why at the very beginning we made this actual string tree. That thing has really come in handy. So let's get into that. And we're going to make 64 of these. Why not? All right, and then we're also going to need something called a controller. This is where all of the work is actually going to happen. And I told myself at the beginning, I made this. I will never have to make a redstone repeater or comparator again after making this farm, because this thing produces redstone comparators, and it also produces redstone repeaters. So I was super happy when I made that farm, and I noticed that those two things are something that farm produces at just its constant rate. Alright, so let's get into our blue connector. This is going to require chests. Now, you have an option between regular connectors, such as this one, or you have advanced connectors. Advanced connectors are going to allow you to use one connector for multiple sides. Like, you can use all sides, and you can route channels to all different blocks connected to all of the sides. Whereas a normal connector, you can only access one side of this connector. You can't have two chests on each side and use both of those. It will not work. You'll have to stick with an advanced connector if you want that to work. But all right, we're going to make normal connectors as of right now because I have no need for an advanced connector at this point. So I'm going to make a few of these just to get started. So 10 of them. If we have to make more, we can always come back and work on making more. Let's kind of get our inventory all cleaned out and looking nice and fresh. There we go. I don't think we need too much of this other junk that's kind of clearing or getting in our inventory. We don't even need the auto sieve yet. We're going to make a steel one soon. All right, and that should be about it. Now, we are going to need, like I said, the controller, which I didn't actually make. And this is going to require RF tools because this is like an RF tools add-on. And we're going to need a machine frame from RF tools for it. And you can see we now have a connector. So all you need is these few blocks, and you should be good. That's pretty easy. Now, if you want to cover up your stuff and you want to make a facade, you can make these facades. You can see right here it says right-click or sneak right-click on a block to mimic. It will do that, and it will copy the material that's on that block, and you can use it by right-clicking on one of these cables, and it will turn that cable into that material, which is very useful for making your builds look nice. All right, so let's go back up here and check on how everything is doing. Look at that. We have dark steel already, and we have our industrial chassis. Perfect. So I'm going to let this continue as we start working deeper on our Ender.io stuff. All right, let's get back into Ender.io, and we're going towards the Sag Mill. We can't just make the Sag Mill yet because we're still waiting on more dark steel, but we can start working on these. Now, we need infinity and iron to make these pieces. Now, we should have some more grains of infinity. Let's go ahead and make some more. Should take just a second for this to work. By the way, I think I showed it last time, but you can click this to insta-grow this stuff. By the way, I do have a visitor apparently. When you hear that sound, that means somebody has stopped by and is taking a look at the base and stuff. And we do have a spot at spawn. I should probably show that fairly soon, how spawn's coming along. I think I'm going to give it a couple more episodes before I start really showing off spawn, because it's still in the process of being built. We have a nexus that's being worked on. But as you can see, we're working on all of this. Let's go ahead and make another one. What am I missing? I'm missing iron nuggets, I guess. Let's throw that in there. Oh, messed up there. There we go. Another infinity. And we should get an achievement for that. There we go. We have a lovely visitor. Uh-oh. Oh no. Hey, that's free apples. I'm not gonna complain. So, yeah, there we go. We got free food. As you can see, I get gifts all the time, which is kind of hilarious. But yeah, I totally respect that. All right, let's get back into this. Dark metal, dark steel, we're going to convert that over. We're going to have to use that to upgrade to the dark biometal. And this one actually doesn't apparently give you an achievement, which I figured it should, which is okay. But let's go ahead. As you can see, we need dark. We still need 3 more ingots in order to be able to progress. And this is a very slow process. So getting to like an upgraded Sag Mill would probably be a good push before you get into the normal Sag Mill, but we're going to get both of them going really soon. This is going to help us get the coal process faster. But yeah, all I have to do is pretty much wait for dark steel. Yeah, that's the process that I have to go through right now. All right, let's take this out. We'll convert this over to more nuggets, giving ourselves this. And I guess we had an infinity biometal in there. But now we have both those gears. Let's make sure we have a piston. And that should be about it. Well, this recipe looks a little bit different. So there's 2 separate recipes. Industrial machine chassis. This one doesn't require a piston for some reason. I don't understand what this recipe is. Oh, it's because this would be upgrading our simple Sag Mill. Okay, so that's what we'll do. We don't even have to worry about making a piston. We can just use our simple Sag Mill, and we can completely bypass that whole step. Alright, so this is almost done. 87%. It's like watching paint dry here. 88%. But we can actually speed this process up by using the acceleration wand. And look at that. Look how fast that is. So if we want to speed up any of these machines, we can do it very easily with the acceleration wand. Alright, so I went ahead and got all of these guys upgraded. I got those 2 blocks hooked up and ready to go. So we have a tier 1 crafter, just like the one that we made down there, except for this is just the tier 1 version. And then I have my controller placed down, and then the power is linked and good to go. So I'm using the same power setup, but we're going to be working with a different power setup for this. So the Sag Mill, we're going to need to make another one. And if we take a look here, we should have enough steel at the moment, and dark steel. So I'm going to take this, and that's going to get us started with pretty much everything that we're going to be working on today. And like towards the end, which I'm trying to get done like as fast as possible. But we do need power, so I think I'm going to work on making this. I think I have stone burnt, right? Yes, I totally do. And we should have some of that, right? Shards. Oh, come on. I know I have some shards laying around. They're actually probably just in another chest. Let me take a look. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I have ender shards over here. Okay, let's get back into that. Power or energy battery. Alright, so we'll make this battery. We need the resonating gem, the battery, and then we also need this, which is another battery, or another resonating gem. So we'll take that, and that'll make us a wireless RF transmitter. And basically, as long as we have power going to this, this will send power for us. So, looks like we have another visitor up here. If we take a look over here, this is still going to be part of our power room. So I am just going to place it right here. And I'm going to grab the other one. So we have a crusher still hooked to this. I'm going to replace this with the crusher. And that should fill this up. It's going to use 4 GP, but we can now power our Ender IO stuff with this. I'm almost positive this will actually work with Ender IO for wireless charging. Alright, and then let's get back down here. We're going to finish up. We're going to make a few more Ender IO machines. I want to make, let's see, at Ender IO, and then we'll do some more Sag Mills, because I want a few more of these, right? So let's make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to take this, we're going to go from cobblestone to gravel, and then from there we're going to go from gravel to sand, and from sand to dirt. Or from sand to dust. And that should get every single one of those completed for us, and hopefully we'll get a backup of it, and then we can just start routing things out. So, let's go ahead and get this finished. We've almost got all of these made. We'll make all of these dark steel biometal, and we have enough of those. We need pistons, 3 pistons, and that should allow us to make our Sag Mills, right? Let's throw those in here. And that should make... we need 1 more Sag Mill. And there we go. 3 Sag Mills. So let's head upstairs. And we'll take a look at what we actually need to set up. Alright, so... to be connected here, I'm going to put my Sag Mills up top. And then to get the power routed to these guys, I'm just going to slap these on the wall. And we should be able to right-click these. And it'll show what is going to it. I guess maybe these don't connect. Does wireless power just not connect at all to Ender IO? Because it's only connected to these 2 machines, which is not what I want. At all. I was hoping that this power would actually work, but it doesn't look like it will. So what I think we're probably going to go with is just a battery. We can do another cyclic battery, I guess. And this will definitely accept power. Oh, and then we're also going to need leadstone cables. So I'll just make some leadstone flux ducts. If that's just how it's going to be, it's how it's going to be for right now. I guess Ender IO is having... I guess it just is meant to not connect like that. Which kind of makes sense. Alright, so right here we can break these. And we'll route this over, and we'll set the battery down. And then we'll just hook this to the sides. And then we could set this to automatically transfer power to that. There it goes. So, this is ready to go. Now we need to figure out what side we're facing, right? So this side is west. So west and east directions need to be turned on. And now that should give power. Now we're going to have to make some capacitors. Or not capacitors. We'll make 3 of those. And this is just going to be the basic ones. So that way, I mean, this is just going to get us started for right now. And yes, now we're receiving power. Also, this needs to go to the down position. So that way it sends power that way. There we go. So this one thing, though, is only sending 80 RF per tick to this. So we may want to actually change how this functions by not using that at all and just going straight with our connected cables. Now, this episode is going to push a little bit longer than my normal episodes. So just be wary of that. I think this is going to the battery. Yes. So I'll just transfer this over. Let's make life a little bit easier. By the way, I have been working on like the builds and stuff. Like over here, I've been working on these rooms and kind of getting that going. It's been a process, but I think it's well worth the time. I think putting the effort into the build is just part of the fun. All right, so let's throw that back in here. Now that should keep that battery charged. It would be hilarious, though, if it didn't actually work that way. Alright, so now that we have this, we need to grab this bad boy down here. Because we'll no longer need you down there. So let's head back up. This is going to be where our cobblestone, or going to be how our cobblestone gets inside our auto crafter. So what we need to do is break this down and place it here. That should automatically send cobblestone into this. It may not be very fast, but we'll speed this up later when we put the fully upgraded version in here. All right, we need to turn this into compressed cobblestone. This will be our first recipe. Compressed cobblestone. And we're going to set this to results for crafting operations will go to the output buffer. That is what I want. And that is going to be how we're going to set this one up in particular. So you can see here, this is our current output buffer. Perfect. So we'll be able to pull items from there and not pull items from here. Now we need to remember the current items that are in this. And that should also keep that the same as well. Perfect. So that's all that needs to be set up. That is done at this point. By the way, these blocks got picked up by the thing that's underneath here. All right, so we're going to hook a connector up to the back side of this. Connector has to connect to our controller. And then we're going to need connectors hooked to each one of the sag mills. And then we're going to set the sag mill on the bottom side to in and out, to push and pull, I guess you can say. Each one of these, push and pull. I don't know if it's necessary, but it's definitely going to, I guess, make it look a little bit easier or work a little bit easier because we're going to be sending and pulling items from both sides. So you'll need to kind of have that set up there. All right, and we'll just connect it like this. Now, we are missing another block that we are going to need, and that is a sieve. Now, the sieve is going to actually require us to have 2 steel blocks, and the rest is going to be that. So, auto-compressed hammer, but we need an auto-compressed sieve. So, let's take our sieve, and let's see which one it actually requires for this. I guess I'll have to search auto sieve because it wasn't pulling up like I wanted it to. So there's that. And the rest should be pretty easy to make. So there's our auto sieve. Now this is also going to need power itself. So let's head back down here. And what I'm actually going to do, I'm just going to link up another channel that we may be using for something else. Like the alloy smelters don't need to be hooked up, but we will link that. Perfect. Now, this should use 80 RF per tick, I do believe, and so that'll allow us to use these RF transmitters for it. All right, let's teleport back up and see what we can do here. So, we'll eventually have these auto sieves. We'll have multiples, but for right now, I'm just going to use it as an example, and we're going to set this up like so. All right, let's get some wireless transmitters right here. These guys are going to be pumping power into this. A little bit at a time. Oh, this uses 120 RF per tick. I think each one of these transmitters produce 80 RF per tick. So we're looking at 120. That should power this. As long as it's not trying to do these first. All right, so no mesh at the time, which is fine. We don't really need to worry about that. We need to tell this how to work. So let's start doing this. We'll do this. We'll call this Sag 1. Just like that. Sag 2. And it's easier if you name your connectors. Sag 3. Okay. And then back here, we'll do Cobblegen. So I'll just name that Gen. And this is going to be, of course, the controller. And then right here, we're going to break this cable. And we're going to put another connector here. So now we're going to have a connector that's connected up to this. I'm just going to name that auto for now. And that should be all we need to do to get this to function. We can see all the blocks here, but we need to make a channel. And this channel is going to be set up for items, and we'll create that channel. All right, so the first channel that I want is to send items to the Sag Mill, and I want to have it first process the cobblestone in Sag Mill 1. So what we're going to do is find Sag Mill 1, which is this one right here, and we need to find the actual connection for the Cobblegen. So let's go ahead and create a connection for this, and we're going to put this to extract, and then we can set this to stacks, and then number of ticks. We can change this to 10, and so every 10 ticks, it's going to pull a stack of items out. So that is set up, so that should pull out our cobble, and we need to put that inside this. So this is going to be set to insert, and as you can see, it starts to work, because now it is putting the compressed cobble inside this machine. Now, we need somewhere for this to go. And for right now, I'm just going to have this completely route everything through each one. And I'm going to, just so that way you guys can see how the controller actually works. So now that we have Sag 1, we can say, all right, so I'm going to create a second channel. This is going to be an item channel. And this is going to pull items from, this is going to export items from the Sag Mill 1. Pretty easy. We'll set that to stack just so it's fast. And then we'll insert into Sag Mill 2. Much like that. And you can see now it starts up. And so we can do the same thing for this process. Create another channel for storage or for items. Very easy to do. And then we'll go to Sag Mill 2, set that to extract, and set it to insert on this one. And don't forget, you can go back here and you can set this back to stack. So that'll start working. So now these are all working, right? All going together, and then we're getting these items here, and we're getting compressed sand. All right, so we want to send the items to the sieve. Right, currently we don't have a mesh, so let's grab this diamond mesh here, since it is like one of the best meshes for the heavy sieve. And we'll put dust through it. I think that's what we're going to work towards, but we can switch it out at any time. So let's throw the mesh in there, and say we want dust to go into this thing. All right, well, we can do that. Let's find this one. Let's create another channel. Set this to item, create, and then we can go right here, take this channel, and we also need to go to the Sag Mill 3 and do the same thing we've done on the other one, set it to extract, to stack mode, and then it's going to insert into the auto sieve. And you can see, thus, it starts. Now, this would be a good example for the advanced connector. You could have an advanced connector connected back here, and basically you can have multiple operations going at the same time. So right now, we have it set up so that way we have the item going into the back, and it's hooked to this connector. Well, we can also export out of that connector and pull all of these items out. And you can see, oh, it looks like we're just keeping up barely with power at this point. But we can also use our other method for power. But yeah, this is working. This is working perfectly, and I don't see any issue with how this works. But if you wanted to change things up, and you see that this is set up like this, you could set this to gravel, or this actually needs to be set up to dust. So we'll change the name to dust. Right, dust. And then we can go to this, create a item channel, right? Create sand, and we'll name that one, and then we'll create this one called gravel. So now we have each one of these different channels. And so what we can do is say, all right, I'm going to turn this channel off and this channel off. You can disable these processes like so. And what we can do is we can connect this like here, and we can swap back and forth between these. So if our system gets backed up and we don't want to do sand, or we don't want to do dust anymore, we can come into the controller and say, all right, well, this is going to be extract to pull out of this Sag 2, which is going to be sand. And then we can set this to insert into here, much like that. But this channel's off, so it won't work right now. But if we want gravel, we can go into this channel, create, set this to extract, and then go back here and set this to insert. So now we have a setup here where this one is dust, this one is sand, and this one is gravel. Now if we wanted to rotate this and say, all right, I don't want dust going in there anymore, I want sand going in there. Now, whenever this runs out of dust, it's going to start pulling sand out of this process and throw it in here. So as you can see, there's a lot of different things you can do with Xnet for automation setup. Now you can see I am running out of power, which is perfectly fine. I'll have to figure out how to set We'll get better power set up very soon, but you can see now compressed sand is actually working. Pretty cool, right? So like all you have to do is uncheck this, and I think you can even go as far as doing logic, creating a logic channel, and inside the logic channel you should be able to actually control even more things with redstone if you wanted to. So if you wanted to shut things off with a lever, you can hook a controller up to levers and turn things on and off with levers as long as you have a connector hooked up to the block that's getting the redstone signal. So yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. I'm going to close that channel because we don't really need it. But yes, you can just turn off the channel that's active and then turn this on and you'll get gravel going into this. You know, very simple stuff. Like I said, it doesn't take too much. Once you figure out kind of how to use this method of how to use Xnet, it's pretty simple to set up, you know, overall. But I think this is gonna look really good. The only thing we have left to do is get facades on here, and then we should be good, guys. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, guys, don't forget to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and also give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome, and as always, thanks for watching.